Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 337. Sean is watching wrestling or something. He'll be here soon. I don't know. Something's happening with RVD. I don't know. He tweeted like 3 times about it. But we do have, returning to the podcast, MVG.
Hello. It's great to be here.
MVG is here. Last weekend we weren't live or anything, but MVG had some stuff he still had to take care of. But he is here to discuss. Actually, fortunately, there was an update to the Unity situation, so you'll still get the comment somewhat on the Unity stuff as I did put that in there.
It's like wrestling's over.
Oh, there he is.
No, it's not over. I'm just shame on.
Did RVD win?
Dude, bro, he looked so good, but yeah, he won.
Oh, good.
Well, it was a tag match. It was him. Why is my camera?
We've been joined by XSplit.
It was him and Taz's son versus these 2 other guys, and he played all the hits: 5-star frog splash, Van Daminator, Rolling Thunder, the backflip spot where he bumps off the guy's back. Dude's like 53 years old.
I was gonna say, how is he still doing that?
that's pretty good for his age.
Yeah, he's like 53, 54 years old, and obviously
he had on SmackDown. Shut your mouth. I remember that.
Well, yeah, like he obviously wrestled a very high intense style, but like he's into that fucking stretching and like weed. And like that's what he credits weed for, like helping his body. I got some fucking RVD CBD.
Oh, I thought that was going a different.
Can't sleep. Pop a couple of those. I'm good to go.
He did the move where he threw the chair to the person. They caught it and they kicked it in their face.
Yeah, he did.
Why did you catch the chair in the first place?
Well, no, what they did for this spot was Jake Hager had the chair and he swung it. RVD ducked it, and then he was still holding the chair and he kicked it in his face.
I like that. That was a fun move. It was good. It always almost always drew blood in SmackDown. So
yeah,
use that first blood match. Sean's here. There you go.
Hello.
We got OJ holding up the pre-show.
Good to be back. Welcome back, John. I think it was what's it called? Like we had the edited show. I wasn't able to make it, so good to be back live again.
Yeah, those ones are always weird because it's like some random point in the middle of the week somewhere. So
yeah, I wanted to make it, but I just couldn't.
It's like roll the dice for who can pop in and all that. But we got
all good.
Good to have back here. Going to be live again, and just after Tokyo Game Show. So there was some stuff in there. I'm sure we can discuss. We got Josie. Josie back with us today.
Yep, excited to be back.
Josie going through all the different Mario games. So
I am. Good time.
Interesting. And then Evan's here.
Yep.
And what's the good news is Evan played a game that is current that he can discuss somewhat on the podcast.
I mean, I played a couple, but I mean, we kind of skipped the Starfield one, I guess.
Oh, you're already done with Starfield then.
Yeah.
You didn't like it.
No.
But well, hey, a more current game that came out this week was Payday 3, so we can go over some of that. Also, I got a chance to play Lies of P. Nate did as well, which Nate will be returning to the podcast, I think, in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yo, Nate's coming back. Let's go.
Making rounds again.
Christ. Sitting there carrying him all this time, and finally just decides to show up a year later.
Seriously, just shut up.
Fuck off, mate.
He played some Lies of P as well, but I got a chance to play 5 or 6 hours of it so far, so I'll talk a little bit about that. We had that ridiculous Xbox FTC leak that took place, the emails back and forth, so much randomness there. Unity, of course, we mentioned that, and then Tokyo Game Show with things like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Deca Police, Game Pass getting a bunch of stuff, and then Capcom disappointing everyone. So it was normal. Let's Evan, I do want to throw a couple Discord questions in tonight because we were behind from last week as well, and there's probably quite a few in there for us to be going through. So I figured we'd also put some on the podcast here tonight. I also want to give a shout out to some of the executive producers that we have with John O, of course. John O, big shout out John O, Joshua Butts, and William Hogue. William Hogue. Yeah, so it's over on the Spawncast Network. Of course, go check that out. We should have it linked down below after I'm done editing the description that I may have forgotten to edit. But definitely check out the Spawncast Network over there. Having a lot of fun, different things happening. And I know we got the Xbox podcast going up here in a bit too. So let's, Evan, you have a Discord question. We can start with one of them.
I guess we'll go with the more recent ones. Which is the better GameCube game? Twilight Princess, F-Zero GX, or Super Mario Sunshine?
Well, those are all very different games too.
One of those games is garbage.
Oh man, just gonna
Fuck
talk
Mario
about F-Zero in
Sunshine.
public like that?
I mean, I think Twilight Princess is. I would pick Twilight Princess out of those three personally.
Out of those three, yeah, I'd pick Twilight Princess.
There's only one of those three games that can do widescreen, and that's F-Zero GX.
It is F-Zero. It
And
is.
that's what I'm picking.
Okay.
I would say Twilight Princess, F-Zero in a close second, and then Super Mario Sunshine burning in hell.
Man, Josie, have you ever played Mario Sunshine?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Wow.
Good.
Man.
Thank you.
Clever girl.
I'd probably pick F-Zero out of those just because it's the one that's easiest to pick up and play.
That's true. Yeah.
So if a game is easier, it's better.
Hey man, I'm just a girl. Just kidding.
As
All right, well, let me
multiplayer-
get you Paw Patrol. My daughter loves that game. Let me get you Paw Patrol or something like that. It's the best
That's
game
what
out
I'm
in the
saying,
world.
man. It's just more
Easy to play.
accessible.
As multiplayer.
I like
Hey,
it.
Josie has a bunch of friends over there too.
It's true. OJ.
How about Peppa Pig? You want that one? That one's pretty easy too.
Hey, the
I
Blu-ray
babysit. I'll take them. If you want to send it to me.
coming up. That's a big deal around here, apparently. Let's Evan, you have no Discord question we'll go over before
Most
we...
of these lean into some of the topics. Do y'all think that Nintendo's game output will be equal to what they have been able to do on the Switch? I'm guessing that's for the next gen system.
Would be equal.
Sure, hope so.
Well, I mean, you assume that it's going to be harder to develop for because you assume they're going to go up to what people think of 4K and things continue to get higher and higher with expectations. I'd like to think that they'll probably get, I assume, more third-party support this time than last time, so it might fill in the gaps anyway. But I don't know. I feel like they'll still stick with their typical. Here's like the $40 or $50 games too, and then we'll also have the $70 ones.
I think it'll be about it'll be about the same.
Yeah, I mean, if it's still NVIDIA, if it's still ARM,
Yeah.
you know, I think developers have a pretty good understanding of the Switch. And hopefully, if Nintendo plays their cards right, it will be just a kind of a transition to new hardware, which will be very, 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 very seamless, I would imagine.
Okay, because I feel like the big 3D Mario game, it feels like it's been a while since we had that.
I could see that potentially being a 70.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think some games will, but I don't think Nintendo's going to go all out in graphics like Microsoft, and even if the system obviously it's going to be more capable, but I don't think they're going to sit there and spend so much on graphics. I think a lot of the Switch 2 games could look just like Switch games, but just run better. I mean, I think it could just be slightly better. I don't think it's going to be like, oh my god, it looks 10 million times better, than what we had before.
That's how I am now. Like a lot of the games we have currently, if they just were upscaled a bit and ran better, I'd be pretty happy with that then. But I'm also getting older, and I've realized my sensitivity to graphics are waning a bit. So,
What do you mean?
like, I feel like maybe back during the Xbox 360 or PS3 era, I was still in that mindset of games can definitely look better as we go. They can definitely get better. Now I'm to the point where I'm like, do games need to look any better? That like Spider-Man 2 comes out. I'm looking at that and I'm like, man, this game looks really good. Can it ever get much better? I don't know. This just looks incredible as it is.
It's the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah, I feel like we're like kind of there. I'm like, now what else?
Well,
can
I
we
mean,
do
the
outside of
industry's
that?
about to go shit up anyways in some way, shape, or form with all these studios closing and big budget titles not doing the numbers. So they shut down the studio. Like, bro, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Like I was still, even then, you'd still hear about 1080p because they put on the back of the box, but all these games are running at like 600 some odd P or something native. And I don't see anyone calling for 8K like that.
No, I don't. The thing about 8K is I saw it was a clip on Twitter of WWE doing 8K video with Roman Reigns' entrance, and it didn't look real. Like it looked like a video game, and like people in the comments were like, "Oh, well, you have to have an 8K display in order to." Like, I don't really know how it works. I'm sure MVG or someone could probably say it better, but like you needed an 8K display for it to look normal, essentially was what it was. It was the most bizarre thing I'd ever seen.
Like you can do it technically now. You can record in 4K and then downsample it to 1080p, and it will still give like basically free anti-aliasing almost on it. It's hard to describe, but I feel like that's what people were seeing. It's almost like when they watched the Hobbit movie. and it was double the frame rate, and everyone was like, "This, what is going on here?" Like everyone was just confused looking at it. I feel like it's a similar effect, but I don't really see a lot of people who are like, we need 8K. It has to happen.
Well, it's still not.
Really?
I mean, it's not at a consumer friendly price point right now either.
I mean, you can get it set for like $2,000, I think.
Yeah,
That is not consumer
That's
friendly.
not. Yeah, no.
But I mean, people were buying plasma TVs back in the 720p 1080p days for like $4,000.
But people didn't really start, like HD TVs didn't really start taking off until they were affordable for like $500, like the TCL panels and stuff like that.
I remember my first HD TV was because I wanted to play the 360 via component cables, and I had like a rear projection TV. It was a 19 or I think it was a 19-inch floor model from Best Buy that was $400 or something like that for this little fucking postage stamp. And I had like, my parents had just moved away, and so they had gotten rid of a bunch of stuff, and so I was just kind of, they moved out of state, so I was picking and choosing what I wanted, and they had like bought one of those like 55-inch rear projection TVs off of like Fingerhut or something, because you could just pay it like monthly or whatever. So I had that, and then I had the little postage stamp right next to it, so people would come over and they'd be like, "Why are you playing on this?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, look, it's HD." And they're like, "Yeah, it's fucking great, dude. We play it on the big TV."
Here's a Samsung QN700B for $1,000, 8K.
Is it real 8K though?
Yeah, yeah.
What HDMI spec is it?
It's a QLED. HDMI. Hold on, I have to
here
scroll
we
down
go.
because it's Best Buy, and they have the thing where you click specifications, and they give you a whole actual list of specifications.
It's probably 2.1.
I assume that's what it would be. Is 2.1.
Probably like Mario
like
Sunshine of 8K TVs.
some Mario Sunshine. That's
Sounds about right.
Samsung QLED. Yeah, 4 2.1 ports. So there you go. $1,000. That seems closer to consumer friendly.
I think $1,000 is still a bit too
much.
much.
I think like a 500 is a sweet spot.
Okay.
500 is when I know. That's when it was around 2007. That's when adoption started skyrocketing, because you can get like those Insignia, like 32-inch Insignia for like $500.
I still have it.
Yeah, like
I have an Insignia TV that it weighs like a fucking million pounds. I've had this thing for well over it's probably close to like 15 years now. I still have it in my bedroom. It has S-video, it has component, it has HDMI. It's great, and it's a fucking tank. It still works. Like I no issues.
That was the
with
TV
it.
of choice for the college students when I first went to Fresno State. It was, everybody had Insignias in there, and when we were playing like Gears and stuff, that was the TV of choice. $500 at Best Buy and Walmart, man.
All right. What's going on with Payday 3 here? Because I have this down for, let's see, MVG played it, Evan played it, Sean somewhat played it, I guess. I haven't been able to play it at all.
I played a couple missions, sir.
I haven't been able to play it at all.
John, I didn't write down what I played, but if you guys want to talk about the Cyberpunk 2.0 update, I did play that.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, we can go over that too. Very nice. Payday 3, though, is infamous right now for not being played. What's going on here?
Can't play it.
You can't really play it with any level of consistency because there's just ongoing matchmaking issues. So it was so bad yesterday that I think it was literally down for most of the day, and then they tweeted that they were working on it, and 7 or 8 hours had passed, and then they finally woke up and said it's fixed. And I checked again this morning. I played a couple of matches. To their credit, it seemed like things were better, but just an hour before we got on the cast, I tried to get into a match, and I got like matchmaking errors all over the place.
Yeah,
so
their servers don't do good with high traffic at all.
Yeah, I think they're just being absolutely hammered right now with traffic. And unfortunately, I hate to say it because I really like the game that I've seen. I'm starting to like get so frustrated. I'm thinking I may just uninstall it and come back to it in a little bit, because right now it's just so unstable to play the game.
It feels like a disastrous launch for them then, if that's the case, because it's like people, especially right now with how crowded it is in games, you get like that one big shot at release, especially because it's on Game Pass. People just didn't uninstall it, move on. There's other things to play, so that's tough. Because I see Payday 2, and that game has not aged great, just with all the technical aspects to it, frame rate, resolution, all that, especially on the Xbox. then I see this. Seemed cool, but it's always online, so people can't play it. No offline
But like
mode.
even the missions I've played, which are the same one from the beta, and I did the club level.
Club was good.
But it doesn't run well on the
Oh,
Xbox.
on your console.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
It doesn't. I don't think it runs. It doesn't run well at all. The character models don't look great. Like there's some nice lighting and stuff, but like there's some significant chugging that I had happen. And I guess I should preface that by saying it could have been a server related thing. I don't really know, but it didn't seem like it was server related. I don't know. Like it just seems like it almost feels like Payday 2.5. You know,
Well,
it doesn't really feel
because of the lack of content. One of the best things I've seen someone say about it is that this is the sequel to Payday 1. Like it's stripped out. Like there's so much missing. And yeah,
like
this is just another Payday 1 sequel.
Like you don't have the thing where you like build up your vault and whatever.
The safe house was added in Payday 2, and Payday 3 is going to suffer from this, just like most games that had a prior game that lasted for almost a decade and kept adding on and adding on. Like there's less characters, less guns, less everything, but just because they kept adding DLC to the original, or the last one. That's
because I didn't play it on PC. I played it on consoles.
So I've played it on both. And I will say, and I don't know if it's just me, Evan, you may know better than I do, but I feel like it's easier to matchmake on PC than Xbox. Xbox, man, I can barely get into a game anytime. And on PC, I've had more success. I don't know if it's because of crossplay being turned off or on. I usually turn crossplay off on Xbox because I don't want to matchmake with PC. So maybe that's kind of hindering the amount of people I connect with. I don't know, but I've played on both. I agree, it does chug a little bit on Xbox. PC is fine, of course. It runs pretty good. It looks good.
Okay, I will try again.
This is a full price game, right?
No, I think it's $40.
Really?
Am I wrong? I feel like it's
30
not
something. I think.
I feel like it's $39.99.
Well,
if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, wasn't that the deep discount after the Xbox Game Pass price? Like, isn't it? I don't think that's the regular price, is it?
Regular flat price was. I remember it being low.
It's at GameStop right now, $39.99.
Yeah, $39.99.
If you wanted to play it early, it kept going up and up and up.
It was like $80 or something.
The gold tier was 80. Silver was like 60 or something.
Yeah. But when you see that, maybe I guess they launched it thinking they're going to build this over time. So there'll probably be an expansion that goes along with it eventually. Then they'll release the complete edition or the Crime Wave edition or whatever. And they'll then release 4 and it'll be this all over again.
I guess I just don't understand because they've had 2 beta tests of this game to obviously kind of iron out these types of kinks. And I think we were on the first, we played it on the first beta.
Yeah.
And everything, there were some issues, but for the most part, it was fine. So I kind of felt like, okay, these guys are ready for the launch, and it's just been like, this is day 3, and it's just been a mess, And
they have to guess to what scale their matchmaking side of the game has to be on launch day, and they guessed wrong, very wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but wouldn't you rather go over than under?
Yeah, I guess so. I wish I could have an opinion on it right now, but I've tried and I can't play it. So I will try more this week. I will give it a real shot. Hopefully they just keep talking about it on Twitter and keep getting annihilated.
I'll be busy with party animals.
They have exactly. They have a small window to fix this because man, there are so many games coming out in October. We gotta move on at some point here pretty soon. If
I'll back up Sean. Party Animals is more fun than it should be.
Party Animals is the shit, dude.
It's such a weird game, but it's better than it looks. I'll say that. Sean had to get dragged kicking and screaming into that, and then he's like actually having fun with it.
Well, no, I did my standard. I tried on the cloud first, and then I move on to download if it's worth downloading.
Anyway, that's Payday 3. We'll check back in next weekend and see if we can actually discuss it as a game then. OJ, you did Cyberpunk 2.0 update.
Yeah. It's not my type of game.
Did you play the when it first came out back then?
I did. I got a review. I got a review code for it. #free game.
Okay.
So I got a review code for it when it first came out, and I played it, and it just felt off. It just didn't feel great. The open world didn't feel good. The AI felt terrible. Just didn't feel good. The police system was terrible. Lots of things were not very good with the game. The PS5 version, even with PS5, I mean, it ran okay, but there'd just be some issues here and there. I had, for some reason, it, like, register like stick drift, even though my PS5 controller wasn't drifting. So there was just all sorts of stuff, and I just got tired of it. And I was just like, I'm good. And I was getting nauseous anyway playing the game. So I just stopped playing after I think 5 or 6 hours. But then I went back into it, and they said to just restart the game. So I just restarted it, and you can clearly see a pretty big update to this in terms of how the combat feels, how the driving is. You can now go into third person, which is I don't know if you can do that before, but I didn't do it before. I would get nauseous driving in those cars, man. Like, so now you can go into third person and shoot, and that's way better. They talked about a bunch of updates and stuff. I didn't get to play the original game as much, so people who have already played and know all the different like tiers that they've changed and all that. But just from playing the game, the combat just feels so much smoother and better. The melee combat, the counters, things that they've added in. So it's pretty solid. And I know people screw Cyberpunk, but I was like, whatever, let me just try it.
I re-downloaded it because I played through it the first time. I did one of the endings, and that was it. Evan, did you play through it too, Evan?
I played through it on launch, and then I played through it again after they said they fixed it, and they didn't really do much.
They didn't. Yeah, but this update is the big update 2.0 because they have the DLC launching next week as well.
I played it twice. I think I'm done.
Yeah, I re-downloaded just because I'm like, I don't know. Do I really want to start it again? It took me a little over 40 hours to get it the first time. Do I want to do that again? I don't know, because they are like, start it all over because we did all this. Apparently they changed the skill trees, Evan. OJ mentioned the melee combat. You can block bullets with a sword.
Yeah, because it was not good before. There was like, for all the skill tree stuff they had, there was really one path you could take to make the game doable, and then everything else just was a waste. But
I mean,
if
Sean
they fixed
couldn't
it, that's
even
great.
Get past a certain quest marker thing. He just gave up. He left. So
well, yeah, I couldn't play the game. I couldn't advance the game.
Yeah, they overhauled that a bit too. Also, like how like the NPCs like feel. Like a lot of times they were pretty dumb. We just get ran over all the time, and this time they actually like move out of the way and stuff like that. So it's definitely better in terms of like the AI too, like the combat. If you're playing on the hard difficulty, definitely better than what it was before. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good update, but obviously, this should have been the game, from the beginning, but whatever. It's a free update, so you can go download it if you want.
It's free. I looked at the Phantom Liberty stuff. I don't know, maybe we'll see. There's a lot of stuff happening right now, and I'm like, I beat Mortal Kombat 1, and then I'm looking over at that, and I'm like, maybe I jump in there before we get into October. I don't know.
I'm thinking maybe because I just decided to put down Starfield, so just because they talk about, hey, we're gonna add city maps in the next update. We're gonna add.
I did finish Starfield, and MVT is right. New Game Plus is very interesting. So,
I'll wait. Maybe they'll do the same thing with Cyberpunk to where it'll be so much better later down the line. I'll just play it later. But yeah, I put Starfield down, so I was like, let me just try this out. That's the only reason why I tried it out, because I stopped playing Starfield, so I just wanted something else to play. And no, it's solid. The update is good. If you have the game already, you put it down or whatever the case is. I think it's worth going back into since it's a free update. And the Phantom Liberty stuff, it's been getting really good reviews. So I mean, and it's fixed on PS5 and Xbox Series, at least Xbox Series X. I have both. I have both. So it's good on both. It plays super smooth. I haven't felt any frame rate drops or anything, but I mean, there could be. I'm not Digital Foundry, but it feels pretty smooth to play. The graphics look good. So if you like the game the first time through, I mean, it might be worth going through again if you actually like it.
I still think it's worth a playthrough, MVG. That's all I'm saying.
I downloaded the update today on Steam. I turned on the ray tracing because I got a 4080. Looks gorgeous. I ran a couple of benchmarks. Then I played a mission. I was like, this game still sucks. And I just
oh man,
it's too late. It's too late.
Yeah,
it's too late. People have moved on.
I agree. People have definitely moved on. I think they updated like the quest stuff, so it's easier to get to like quests and all that, because sometimes I just don't feel like dealing with that. So like the third person driving plus like actually being able to get the quests easier and stuff. Was just enough for me to just say, okay, I'll play it a bit. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it. I really don't know, because like I want to check out Lies of P, but I'll see if I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish it. But I'll play it this weekend and see how much I really like it. But I've only played a number of hours, so I'll keep it going.
Josie, how you doing?
Good, great.
Okay.
I don't.
How was Mario 2?
Oh, Mario 2 was good. For the most part, I think it plays kind of like
Talking
crap,
about Doki
but-
Doki Panic.
Oh gosh.
No way.
Did you know? Josie, I actually have a question for you when you're done with this.
Okay.
Say
But
no,
it was cool to
Josie.
see where like the Peach, floaty thing came from, and Luigi's jump and all that kind of stuff was kind of cool. Other than that, I feel like that's the coolest part about that game. But
This is the first Mario game everyone should play, right?
I don't even think you need to
this is the
play it
first one.
personally. But hey,
What?
I don't know.
What?
She doesn't like
Where
it.
do you
She
think
just-
Shy Guys came
tell,
from?
Tell it was
Where do you-
terrible, Josie.
Where do you
I
think
don't
Shy
think-
Guys came from? Where do you think so much of the aspects from the Mario series came from? Was from
That's
Mario
what I
2?
just said. That's what I just said. It's cool in that way, but is it necessary?
Yes.
Not really.
Yes.
All right.
These are where the aspects of each character
Differing
came from.
up. Yeah.
Wait,
hey.
what are we arguing?
Yeah, what's happening?
Is it
OJ
essential,
thinks
is
that
it
people
essential
need
to
to-
play it or not?
No, it's
No,
not.
So exactly.
It's not the real game.
You don't need Birdo's
Doesn't matter.
origin story. Like,
Nobody
do.
cares.
I care. You care enough to play. You played it. You care.
Because I wanted to, but I'm not saying that like you have to go out of your way to play it.
I mean,
It's
if
not very
anything, you
hard
should
to
go out
play
of your
these
way to
games the
play.
First
You
time, Josie. Give us a thought and opinion on these games for the first time, even though we're all old and like
Yeah.
jaded by it. Sean, what were you saying?
I was just saying, like, the real Super Mario Bros. That's the one you should seek out to play. It's hard
Lost
as fuck.
levels.
Lost
It's,
Levels.
no, it's not Lost Levels. It's called Super Mario Brothers 2.
No, that's the one.
All
That's
the
the
lost
one.
levels here.
Hold on, Sean.
okay?
Yeah,
That's
no,
actually,
that-
actually
that's
Doki
Super
Mechanic, Sean.
Nintendo.
That's what that is.
That's Super Nintendo. I'm talking about the original
Okay.
Famicom disc
Okay.
system game.
The original one. All right. Gotcha.
Okay. What was your question for Josie, Sean?
Ambiguous Gender had a good question here. Are these scumbags going to address, and this is for you, Josie, are these scumbags going to address the fan issues of questions being put to the side for crappy bonus shows and multiple roles not getting what they signed up for? Josie, you're our PR people.
Oh God.
Yeah.
We answer the super chats in the show, and then if you are on the Patreon, you get access to the Discord, which means that we answer the questions that you guys asked in the Discord.
Yeah, that sounds.
There's an
sounds very
MVG
reasonable.
Discord now too, isn't there, Evan?
Ew.
There
There's
is.
an MVG. Yeah, that's how the people do their
What?
ask a developer questions. They
Tea
ask,
time with MVG.
I wasn't told to start that yet, but I can.
oh, look at that debuting
Well,
right now.
Tea time with MVG is
that's-
insane.
Yo, that sounds like when Sakurai found out about Smash Brothers. He was like, Owada was like, "Yo, we got a new Smash Brothers," and Sakurai's like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, you're making it." He's like, "Oh."
That was good
There we
PR work. You're hired.
Thank you.
Let's Lies of P as well. I played 5 or 6 hours of it. MVG, just go ahead and download it right now. You'll get a kick out of this game because the first thing you do, you open the doors and it's Bloodborne. It's like immediate.
But is it Bloodborne, John? Is it?
Not quite.
Yeah.
The feel isn't completely there, but they have some interesting ideas in it. The story, it's to me, it's still the Souls thing where I don't care as much about the story, to be completely honest. I just kind of walk past a lot of it. There was one interesting thing with obviously the title Lies of P. As you can tell, it's obviously the world of Pinocchio and all this. You have puppets and
Is it?
humans and stuff. And
It is.
I had.
Sean, there is a character in there that I know you will absolutely love because it's from one of your favorite franchises.
Who?
Like your favorite. Like, it's
Batman?
from. Well, yes, potentially. I don't want to spoil it though.
well, do you know the title of the game, right, Sean? Lies of P. Do you know
Yeah.
why it's Lies of P?
Because Geppetto did something bad to Pinocchio.
No, I mean, I don't know.
This
if
is
that's a
nose
twist.
No,
That's
but
a twist.
elaborate.
I don't know, that might be a twist. I don't know. No, because in the game they do it early on. Puppets.
Spoilers.
Well, it's right away. It's why the thing's called. It's before the title card hits. Okay, you know, like
that's fair.
so it's very early on. It's like before the idea is puppets in that universe can't lie. So one of the first things you do in the game is you lie, and they're like, "Oh, you must be a human. Then you can come on through."
But
because
yeah,
you're a
Sean won't
special
like it
puppet."
though because Sean doesn't like the Souls games. Remember? He
It
always
is.
says-
It is.
yeah.
Very, but here's the thing. I feel like this is an easier Souls game, and it's not. I'm not even saying I'm like good at the Souls games or anything, but I haven't Usually
not the
Souls
difficult.
games,
It's not
I
because of
fight a
difficulty.
boss, and a boss just
You know.
slaps me around for like a solid hour, and then I figure it out. I'm like, okay, I've died once to a boss so far, and I fought 2 of the like big bosses. They have like sub bosses too, but 2 of the big bosses so far.
Does Geppetto come out and he's like, "You got to be a good boy, Pinocchio"?
You find characters from the lore universe, whatever. You do find these characters that are like talk about them. You come across them. You have like a mansion that you set up shop in, and you upgrade similar to Souls games. I mean, really, it's like they looked at Dark Souls and they said, "Hey, we really would like the idea to do this dark spin on the Pinocchio story. Let's make it a Souls game." So you have like the stats and stuff that you move up, you know, and they've kind of altered the names of them slightly, so it's not exactly pulling everything from it. But I think MVG, if you like Bloodborne, you would like this. I only have some concerns with the combat in the sense that it at times feels very claustrophobic in some of your areas, and if you hit anything around you, you will just completely clank off of the wall or an object or something, and it stops you from hitting enemies that don't have that effect.
Don't like that.
So that's something I got a little annoyed about, but you also have an arm that can be changed out and upgraded. So like mine has like electrical powers where just shoot electricity across from you, and you upgrade your weapons. Like there's a lot of RPG elements to the game that you can build. You have different builds and all of this, but I really like the aesthetic, the look of the game. I think visually speaking, it's really good. It's on Unreal Engine, but for coming from a team that's a bit obviously not as I guess experienced with the Souls setup and everything as you would see with FromSoft, they did a pretty good job. So it's in Game Pass right now. If you're curious about it, people can download it and check it out. I recommend it. I do. It's a bit more approachable, not as approachable as Elden Ring. And the only reason Elden Ring is more approachable is because you can just leave and go power level. This game, it's more Bloodborne-esque where you have a set path in front of you and you go. So but I recommend it. I think it's cool. The parry mechanic is not as good as I see someone mention in the chat as Sekiro, and that is correct.
The chat's saying you're spoiling the game.
No, what? How can I be spoiling the game?
Because you're talking about the game, and you're talking about, and I think I might have spoiled it a little. No, I didn't say anything. No, I did. You're spoiling the game.
He said Geppetto was in there, and he was like, "You've got to be a good boy, Pinocchio."
These are all things that happen in the first couple hours of
You're still spoiling the game, though. People are just trying to play the game.
As long as you just say the title and say that you like it, that's all they want, I guess.
Look, you can be generic. It looks good. The story's interesting. There's some unique gameplay mechanics.
No, don't even say there's gameplay mechanics. That's a spoiler. Just say it's a game.
That's the easiest way to get it done. Is just
say it's good and just move on.
You have like a grappling hook called the puppet string.
Do you know there was supposed to be a Pinocchio game for the 32X? It was a port of the one that came out on 16-bit systems. Never came out.
In your book, Sean?
It might be. You're in my book.
I know. I don't remember the Pinocchio. That's why I asked about it.
Let me see if I covered that in the canceled games section here. There's MVG, beardless MVG.
Damn. Going back a long time ago.
I don't know if I like beardless MVG.
Check out Lies of P. I think it's a pretty fun.
It is.
Oh, okay, there we go.
You got to be a good boy, Pinocchio. Buy it on Amazon.
It was so blurry, I couldn't even tell what it was.
Well, gonna drop an affiliate link in chat real quick.
Yes, I am. Dozy, have you bought it yet?
I'm on my way. Drop that affiliate link.
There you go. Let's talk about the Xbox leak that took place, because there's a lot of information that flew around this week. I picked a couple of things from it because there's so much there that people are discussing. It would take like probably a full day to go over all of it. But clearly the big one people were talking about had to do with the hardware for multiple reasons. MVG dropped a tweet that got people fighting as well on Twitter.
Oh man, you got people feisty. You got people feisty on that one, MVG.
Welcome to that all digital future. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Anyway, we have two systems technically and one controller that was outlined with images, the whole thing. And it looks, I guess it depends on your experience with electronics. It either looks like an Amazon Alexa or a Mac Pro. What were the other ones people were throwing out there? Someone said a humidifier. It's codenamed Brooklyn, It is an Xbox Series X that is basically a cylinder. So I guess you're not laying it on a side. And it has upgraded Wi-Fi, more storage, 2 terabytes as opposed to 1, a USB-C front port with power delivery, and no disk drive. The no disk drive certainly is what caused a lot of the conversation because MVG said that. Go ahead, MVG. You say what you said.
I don't remember what I tweeted exactly ad nauseum, but basically I said that Xbox doesn't seem like they care about physical and preservation.
Care about digital preservation, sir.
I mean, what are we supposed to make of this? This appears to be a refresh, right, of the Xbox Series X.
It's due out, according to their documentation, they were targeting 2024 holiday.
Says the word refresh on there. And, that kind of tells me that the original model will eventually be kind of end of life.
They outlined plans in here to phase out the original Xbox Series X and then the Series S. Original one.
So unless there is plans for a detachable drive, which there's rumors about that, there's some rumors about Sony doing that, then basically the messaging here is pretty clear that Xbox will no longer have physical discs as an option based on what we've seen, right? Of course, things can change, plans can change, assumptions may have been made, information may not be accurate, but this is the information that was presented at the trial, at the hearing, I should say. So what are we supposed to make from this? I think really at the end of the day, it's just, if this is the way that Microsoft and Xbox is actually considering going, then I'm very, very worried about the future of video games. I think this is I'd be very concerned personally. So that's really all my tweet was saying, that Xbox, even though they have done very well with backward compatibility over the years, and look, you can't take that away from them. They're probably the best out of the 3 companies that do it right now. I think the future is very, very uncertain as to what they're going to do as far as backward compatibility.
Just emulate.
I mean, you're not wrong, Sean. You're not wrong at all. I think that's probably the way people are going to go.
I mean, this is something that we kind of saw coming with all the information that gets out there for digital physical split and how that keeps going more and more to the digital side. It's interesting that they would potentially phase out the current one that would take a disc and go completely to this all digital model. They already introduced it with the Series S, but now it's like, now here's the Series X, no disk drive, and like that's it. Also, the new Southbridge, it's been brought up with that controller if it would be compatible with the current Series X and S. I assume it would have to be, but who knows there too. I don't know. This is interesting stuff. And this was 2020. These slides were made, I believe, 2020 to 2021. So I think this stuff is probably happening if it's coming out next year. Like, hardware takes a while to get set up and done. So
yeah, and it's the same price, right? So it's the same price. And then the slide said adorably all digital.
What's that? Who came up with that? Who is it? Just because it's like it's
all?
I don't know.
I mean, adorably less options. Adorably cutting out cut no physical games, so you can't sell them, you can't trade them with your friends. You can't. It eliminates options for the consumer, which would be better in the long run when it comes to what you want to buy, your choices. The only issue, and I get it, emulation's there, and I get it. Steam's been doing this for a long time, but the only thing that I don't want is storefronts to be the only place you can get the games, right, is from Microsoft and Sony. It's not like, like the PC, like there's different places like you can get like the codes from, right? Like the GOG, or there's different storefronts, right? Like Xbox, this would be the only place you can get it for the most part, unless somebody has like a download code you buy from somewhere else. But most of the time it's not going to be that. So it's really just going to funnel it all to them, and that's not good for us, as a consumer. That's not good for us. If there's only one place to buy the game, so that's the big concern that I have.
That is a great point. Look, Steam obviously is digital, GOG, Epic Game Store, all that's digital, and that's not what we're really talking about here. I mean, OJ brings up a good point, because when there's only one place where you can download these games, and that is kind of the manufacturer, from the manufacturer, then basically you're kind of at their mercy. They'll do firmware updates, they'll have to force you to agree to new terms of services to retain access to your games. You can't basically refuse updates and game patches and stuff like that. All that stuff, right? They can basically, slide in like advertising and tracking and microtransactions, all sorts of things. And I think that's really the scary part, that I'm seeing with this stuff.
I do wonder if this is enough. Like, let's say they do this mid-gen refresh, because I kind of wonder if the PS5 Pro is going to be something similar to where there's no disk drive in the box. You have to buy it separately. I almost wonder if these mid-gen refreshes would push things over to the edge, because we already see the physical digital split going towards digital. These things really push it to where it's like 95/5. And then next gen 2028, as they kind of outlined at least their idea of a timetable, there's no disk drive at all that launches. These are just digital systems then. I kind of think that's set. I think it's going to happen. I mean, MVG, you did a lot of tests early on for the Xbox Series to where the game wasn't on the disc.
Yep. Yeah,
they already weren't shipping it anyway.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Xbox, for whatever reason, they refuse to want to update their Blu-ray size on the discs. Like, they've been using the same Blu-ray disc since the Xbox One days, so they've clearly not really been interested in kind of updating those. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just very. I'm seeing a lot of signs from Xbox and Microsoft that they're not really interested in a physical kind of future going forward. They want to, Game Pass is obviously the most important thing that they have, and having that digital storefront is really, what they're all about. And for better or for worse, I think that's what we're going to start to see, maybe, midway through this generation, but I think certainly next generation, at least from Microsoft and possibly Sony, I would say that we're going to go digital all out. Hopefully they'll still have the add-on for the disk drive though, because for me, I love physical media. I mean, having a diskless console is just, I hate that, because the idea of no secondhand games. I can't lend my game out to OJ or Sean or Josie.
I wouldn't give it back.
I know you probably would.
Which, by the way, me and MVG, I bought a bunch of games from MVG. Like, that's gone.
You can't resell your games. You can't buy games from any brick and mortar store and all that stuff. That whole thing is going to go away, and I think that's really, really.
So you're saying the companies will make more money, the publishers, and there won't be any used games to contend with or any of that.
There'll be no reason to lower
money.
There'll be no reason to lower the price.
So they can lower the price of the game.
Oh,
okay. No. Never mind then. Oh,
no.
Okay.
Yeah, why would they?
Because you have to buy. Why not?
We might have to raise the price. It might be $80 now. The price might have to go up.
Well, the price is definitely going up to $80. Like,
your price is 2028. Here we come.
That's definitely going up to 80. There's no doubt in my mind. That's based off of that technology that Microsoft's working with. It seems like the prices are going to go up. Definitely.
Yeah. Josie, what does the younger generation think of digital?
It's convenient, but I agree. I think it's bad, just like as a whole, because I have a Switch and I lend all my games to my friends all the time, and so not having that in the future.
Those games, you keep track?
Oh yeah, I write them down.
Okay.
And I write a little name next to them, so I remember.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's not good, and I mean, I do have the Series S, the one that is digital, but it's just because it was the cheap one, and so I would like to, have the physical disc in that, but.
Well, it's essentially a Game Pass box for you.
Yeah, right? I mean, that's pretty much the only reason I.
So you know what you're getting. Like, you're not under any, reservation as to what this is. This is a digital system. This is not the same as you're invested in the Series X, and then all of a sudden they take the disk drive away from you. I think that's the concern that I have.
Not having that option is very just restrictive for down the line stuff, like you guys were saying.
Do we start seeing more Alan Wake 2 situations where companies just don't even release physical copies in the next couple of years?
Absolutely.
100%.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Wow. It's we'll see if this continues on, because they said that Phil Spencer responded and said that the plans may have changed. I don't think these plans change. I think this is happening. I think we're going to get an all digital Series X next year. I'm just more curious what happens when it comes to them phasing out.
On some of those, one of the slide decks, some of that stuff was already funded, right, and was kind of already in the works.
Yes. Yeah, they have to.
I don't remember.
They had like color coding. You're right, MG. One was like green is like we're good, yellow, and then like white. I think was like I don't know. Someone has to figure this out, kind of thing. So, but then, I mean, they are very detailed with this Series X refresh. They have the 6 nanometer die shrink on deck. They have the amount of power that they're going to reduce by going to that. Like they have the packaging figured out. Basically, I don't know. It seems to me like this is happening. And then the other one, which was like a Series S revision, is probably happening as well. That's called Elwood or Elliewood. And the big thing there is same deal. They're just upgrading Bluetooth, die shrink, going to 1 terabyte in size. That will be $299 though. So that's actually a better price than the current carbon black model at $349. So that's probably why they don't want people to know this is going to be a thing, because why would you buy the carbon black model then?
Too late.
Did you mention that they're trying to like phase out the Series S2 and take that option away as well?
They are. Apparently they're gonna mark it down to $200. That's their plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm playing the long game with the Series S.
Oh gosh, this guy. They're gonna mark it down to $200 the move. But hey, you know what? This might be good for you, Josie, because you might be able to get a Series X for cheap. Someone might be selling it off or something, trying to get rid of it for this one. The wireless upgrade, Bluetooth, yeah, that's all fine. But the controller, I'm actually interested in this controller. I would like to get this. It looks significantly better than everything we have right now with the current Xbox controller.
I will say, yes, that controller is nice. I do want that controller as well.
Why did you skip over the most ridiculous thing about that initial first slide? And it's in the second slide as well. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. The fucking nature, reduced energy. You're saving the world using this. Like, shut the fuck up. That shit to me is so ridiculous. You know what would save the world? Not plugging an Xbox into a wall, because then you have like zero electricity and shit. Like it was so stupid. Rechargeable batteries, helping the environment, recycled materials. Shut up.
Hey, rechargeable batteries are fine though.
Rechargeable batteries are cool because I used my double A's, but like telling me it's recycled material, like I don't care.
Okay, tell us how you really feel.
That shit's just so annoying. It's like, if anyone like is anyone out there like, oh shit, this is less carbon. This reduces my carbon footprint. Well, I have to buy this over the PlayStation 5 now because
buy 10.
Carbon, like, I don't.
I'm pretty sure some people do care about that.
Who? They need to be put on a watch list.
People who like to recycle, people who like to...
I mean, there's nothing wrong with recycling and stuff like that, but don't act like
really
you're saving the planet with your reduced energy thing when really the better option would be to not have this.
More power, right?
Oh yeah, give me a fucking
diesel powered Xbox. It'll be great.
I want to buy a Hummer and get like fucking 4 miles to the gallon. Like, yeah. All right, that's it.
They need to bring back like something you could do with your system when it's just plugged in, not doing much but using power, like folding at home. Remember we used to have that on the PS3? Yeah, those are the good days. The controller though, hold on. Nothing about packaging, Sean.
No, yes there is.
Wait, hold on. Is there? Let me see.
Upper. It's in the upper right corner where they talk about the battery. There's something right below it talking about recycled materials were used for the controller.
You had that thing picked out. Look at that. Recycled materials, less resin. Wow, Sean is like on this. Jeez.
I have a photographic memory when it comes to shit that I'm just like, what is this? Nuke the whales. Goddamn right. You gotta nuke something.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Sebille. So yeah, it's a new controller that's going to be Bluetooth 5.2, Xbox Wireless 2. I guess that's a new protocol for connecting to the Xbox. But it will have haptics that can double as speakers, which tells me it's basically what's in the Switch controller now, because that your Switch motor inside can make actual sounds, which is kind of neat. The accelerometer, quieter buttons and thumbsticks. Is this loud? Yeah, I guess it's kind of loud. New modular thumbsticks. Lift Awake actually sounds kind of neat, but I like the sound of this controller. I am on board whenever they want to launch it. The only thing I'm kind of annoyed about is I don't like the way it looks.
What, the black white,
can change,
the weird
though.
like 2-layer?
I kind of like it.
It's glossy white.
The worst option.
I don't want glossy white on my controller. I don't need that. Just matte black. We're good. I don't know why they got to get fancy with it.
Hide all the greasy fingerprints.
It's strange to me that they want to put gloss on a controller. Like, I feel like we went through that phase. I think we realized it's not a good idea, and we all moved on from it.
It was
that Xbox. Like,
yeah, it was glossy cases,
Xbox
right?
One. Yeah, that was bad too.
There
The
were
cases
YouTube
weren't great.
videos dedicated to showing people how to degloss a console.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yep, you'd like basically like strip the top layer off, and yeah, this whole thing. But direct to cloud as well, so it's basically going to do what Stadia's controller did. So you can bypass, I guess, your system and go right to the cloud if you want. So Lift Awake, though, that's kind of a neat idea. You pick up the controller, I guess it can detect it, maybe with accelerometer, and then it'll maybe turn your system on. It's kind of a fun idea. This is also set for 2024. I guess we'll launch with the systems. So
yeah, it comes with the new one. So yes, you get 2 terabytes, $500, and you get the enhanced controller with it.
Oh, I do want to point out there, Sean. It is kind of under the sustainability thing, but rechargeable and swappable batteries. So you can pull the battery out of it, put AA's in, and then just keep throwing them away if you want.
I love my AA's, you know that. I buy them in bulk. Process. I got rows of AA's. I need to get some AA's. You remind me.
Where do you buy those at?
Amazon.
You just get them on, just Amazon. Yeah, I need
them in
some,
bulk.
Man.
They ship you like a brick of batteries.
Yeah, dude, and they're fucking cheap as shit.
No, I usually do. I just haven't done it, and like that's the reason why I haven't been playing games on my Xbox because I don't have any more batteries.
Oh, dude, I got fucking loads of them. Like, you get 36 AA's.
One of these
$13.
One of these docks. Yeah. Get the nice play and charge thing. You just set it down, and
I know I'm late. I don't know. I kind of like the. I don't know. For some reason, I kind of like the batteries.
I like the batteries
years ago.
I know. I don't know why I do, but I do like the batteries, even though I'm not playing my Xbox because I don't have any more batteries.
It's familiar, kind of, even though.
What they're describing here,
the only controller I ever had.
Rechargeable and swappable battery is basically what Evan held up. It's what 8-Bit Do does. Yeah. So they're all catching up finally. Yeah, good move though. This controller sounds good. So just change the look up a little bit, please. Just matte black. I'm good.
Well, they have that design studio, design labs, so you can make it.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's. Hold on. Did they? Yeah, okay, you're right, MG. It says in XDL, so Xbox Design Labs is planned for this, according to their slides. So, also the Xbox Series X is also marked for Xbox Design Lab.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, huh? I wonder if they'll let you basically change the color of it however you want, and you can have it shipped out with like engravings on it. I don't know, but we'll see. That I think that could really kickstart. Accelerate that digital future. MVG, it's coming. Look out.
Yep.
Good news is I think Nintendo is on it this generation coming up. I don't know, what would be the next time they would start? 2031, 2032 maybe for Nintendo.
Yeah, we'll be dead by then.
Well, I'm trying to think of what gaming would look like by then.
What are you talking about? Josie's going to be like 18 years old at that point.
What do you mean? How old do you think I am? Every single time. It's like, Josie, wait a second. Hold on. You're 6? You just turned 4? Like.
It's because Jordan's not here.
Yeah, somebody's got to.
We used to do that to Jordan, but we don't do it anymore. He's getting up there. He's getting elderly. Yeah, he's getting elderly. So we can't do that to Jordan anymore.
Well, I think Nintendo will stick with it this generation coming up, but I don't know, 2031, 2032, who knows what it's going to be like then? Maybe it's just all digital. We're playing in the cloud. Who knows?
I'll be almost 60, John. I'll be out of the game by then.
Yeah.
MG will be in a nursing home. We'll have to send him chocolates and hours.
I'm going to go too, man. I'm tired of this shit.
I'm taking my emulation box and my hard drive.
I've
had enough, man. I can't wait to retire. Please.
Hey, you can enjoy Metroid Prime 4 then, MVG. Plenty of time there when it comes out in 2032.
The newly announced or newly released Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, there you go. Man, You want to hit us with another Discord question, Evan?
Oh, now I gotta click over here.
Oh, I mean, if it was up, I was just like, I'm sure we have plenty of them piled up.
Are you still going to do the Apple Arcade review?
Yes, I am actually. I have the box that I was going to use for it. I did not want to use one of the expensive ones. I got one of the cheap ones.
Oh, because this person suggests the Apple TV, the 4K 2022 model, and
that is what I have.
Oh, good, and to use a DualSense controller since apparently
some
games work.
Right. I have different I got to figure out which one I'm gonna pair with it, but I do have different DualSense controllers over here ready to roll. So that was the plan because those Apple TVs, they're like $150. So it's all like almost that impulse buy territory for people where it's like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll pick that up rather than the $1,000 Apple Mini or whatever. It's not as palatable when you walk into Best Buy to pick that up. All right, let's talk about one of the emails that got out there from Phil Spencer to Chris Capicella and Takashi Numoto. This was under the subject random thought, not even capitalized. It's just random thought. I assume they messaged him like normal hours in Japan or something, and then it was like middle of the night for Phil. And it was all about the idea of them trying to acquire Nintendo, or can they do it basically? And Phil just said, well, that would be something, wouldn't it? And then he it feels like Phil politely told him, probably not. But he did mention that would be a career moment if they could acquire Nintendo, and that it's taking a long time for Nintendo to see that their future exists off their own hardware. A long time. 4 dots, and then he used a smiley face. He used an emoji in a business email.
It's not very professional, Phil.
It's very interesting. It didn't even like populate with the correct thing. It's literally just like the colon line and then the half prints.
Did you guys take a look at what time that email was sent? It was after midnight.
It's 12.
I did. I was like,
club.
I was like, yo, Phil can't sleep. He can't sleep. Is this keeping him up, man? This guy's out here paranoid, bro.
He was at the shake joint. He had a couple vodka cranberries. He's like, yo, let's fucking buy Nintendo, bro. Let's fucking just go all out, man.
He did name value. He got pretty in depth actually. He even linked a Reuters article about Value Act acquiring $1.5 billion worth, so like 2% of Nintendo, and he seems to think that they would have some sort of influence on Nintendo. But to me, this just reads, how about we talk about WB and ZeniMax? Those seem more likely, which ZeniMax was more likely because they bought them. But he did, what was interesting? The last thing really got people confused a bit about what he meant, saying that at some point getting Nintendo would be a career moment. It's just taking a long time for Nintendo to see that their future exists off their own hardware a long time. Again, this was in 2020. And that's an interesting line from Phil. I don't know if
it came at the height of the Switch's popularity. And that was the interesting, like, people were saying like, well, wait a minute, they've been selling really good. Like, this is 2020. So this is Animal Crossing. Switch was rolling that year, right? So he's saying that, oh, well, no, they shouldn't make hardware anymore. They need to be with us, or we need to acquire, so they should make for us. Whereas, but like in Japan, big boxes are dying. Like so Nintendo, obviously Japanese company, they do really well. They sold over 30 million units in Japan, right? So it just seems interesting that it's like, oh, well, no, they don't need to be on there. And who cares about that region? Because people do want this type of system. They should be doing this here with us. So it's like, I don't know. I think that there's enough room for all of them. And that if you fold a console manufacturer, that's definitely not good for the industry. I mean, we were talking about certain things being not good. Like, now you fold a whole console manufacturer, now you only have 2.
You have one less.
Yeah, now that makes even less options in terms of where you're going to get things and all of that, and puts Microsoft obviously in that's what he's supposed to be there for. He wants Microsoft to do well. But this whole act of Phil being, I'm all for industry and stuff, that's a facade. That's not real. He wants to bury the competition just like Jim Ryan or anybody else does. He wants this whole everything about the gamers and all this positive. That's not him. He's a businessman, and that's fine. Have no problem with that. That's his job. But I'm not listening to any more of this for the industry stuff that this act that he puts on. I already kind of knew it was in the first place, but now it's really apparent with all the moves here, so it is what it is. It's fine.
I'm interested in this last line though from him, because this is after he mentioned Value Act and how he talked with because they used to be a board directors for Microsoft, as he was discussing, and I looked into it some. Value Act seems to be a more active participant when they invest in a company, like substantial amounts of money, and I guess you'd say 2% of Nintendo is fairly substantial for the amount of money it costs to do something like that. And Value Act's comments back then when they made these investments, which started in 2019 and became public in 2020, they compared Nintendo to as being more of an entertainment company as what they should morph into, and then they said that they would be bigger than Netflix, Disney Plus, Tencent, Apple Music on the entertainment front. Again, this is in 2020. And just recently, Doug Bowser said that Nintendo is evolving into being an entertainment company with gaming as a nucleus for them. And I just realized, like, well, the Mario movie did really, really well for them. They're doing the theme parks now. Maybe Phil wasn't completely off.
Yeah. I mean, people have been asking for them to do that for a while, though, right? People have been asking for, where's the movies? Where's the stuff? Where's all that? They've been doing like the Lego stuff for a while now, right? So, it only makes sense that they did all that. They're sitting on so many big IPs. Why not make movies? I mean, Sony makes movies. Microsoft has movies or stuff. Is there still Minecraft? Whatever. Microsoft does stuff. Everybody wants to do more because they're all publicly traded. You need to make as much as possible. So that made sense in terms of maybe. Are you saying like that influence from that?
I think Value Act had an idea for Nintendo and maybe was like, hey, this makes sense. Because you're, as an investor, you can say this makes more sense for you guys. You're doing gaming well, but you should look here as well. And the idea, the thing Phil's bringing up is the board of directors at Nintendo aren't necessarily interested in that exponential growth, quote unquote, that is brought up by investors and businesses we see in America all the time, where they have to do stupid amounts better every single year. And they're thinking, he's thinking that Value Act could push them that way. But the idea that they were bringing that up in 2020, and it's like, you got to do a movie or do a theme park, and it's all doing really well for them. It's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the movie plans, they think Nintendo says like, oh, we're working on it for like 7 years or 6 years. Who knows? In actuality, how long it was being worked on. But yeah, man. I mean, we'll see. Phil's interesting though. Phil's interesting. Like his emails. I know it was probably a bit embarrassing for him to have all that stuff leaked. I mean, because if you look at it from like maybe like Nintendo's side, like their upper managers thinking like, oh, that's what it was. It's the long game, huh? You just want to butter us up with all these games some of these games that you're giving us, and then you want to just acquire us when we're not when we let our guard down. All right.
I don't know how long that would take. I don't know if Phil still be at Microsoft by the time Nintendo is like in a position that they would have to trip over themselves like 3 Wii U's in a row or something to get
that's what I was thinking. It'd have to be pretty substantial failure across the board for that to even come into question.
Or we get to a time where consoles aren't used anymore and it's all cloud-based and somebody's got to host their games for them, and then there's Microsoft.
No, that's not a time.
2040 is right around the corner, man.
2040. Damn. That's too long.
It's not right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Years.
You'll be dead by then.
Yeah.
Even Josie isn't 17.
It's like Josie has to live her whole life all over again for us to get there.
That's true.
Now, I'm curious to see how we launch, I guess, the next generation with Xbox and PlayStation, so we can see it if it is just all digital from there on. But interesting stuff there. Interesting stuff.
I think their mentality of getting all of these companies over and over and over again is kind of obnoxious. Like, you just need to put out games, and they're not even doing that. I mean, we got Starfield, and we're getting some more stuff now, but like I think that they just need to buckle down with the companies they do have and start releasing stuff.
Yeah. They're trying to build overwhelming value for Game Pass because they know they're in desperation mode for Game Pass right now. Like, they need this thing to start going, right? Like, they need to start growing it based off the leak emails. I'm just going based off the leak emails. They really need to get this thing going. They were probably expecting to be over 30 million, 30 something million at this point, considering the value that it offers. So I think that's the part of this is like, hey, if we don't get all this crap, we're not going to be able to sell Game Pass, and everything's going up in price. So we're going to have to raise the price of Game Pass too. So yeah, I think they're not desperate and not complete desperation or panic, but they're absolutely in like, okay, we've got to make big moves now because we don't have the time to, we need to start growing this right now. We need to get 30 million plus subscribers. We need to, and like, you need acquisitions. Like you can't, they've shown that they can't do it themselves, right? Like they've already shown that they can't just make Perfect Dark and Battletoads and Killer Instinct and all these different first party that they already have, right? Like from Rare and some of their other acquisitions, and just those games come out and everybody just be happy and people buy the hardware. They can't do that. They have to go get other people in order to make their reality, like to make it happen as fast as possible. So, I mean, it's obnoxious, but at the same time, like they're going to keep doing that. I don't think they're done.
No, it looks like Activision Blizzard's set to go through probably. Yeah. I mean, it seems like it might be done by the end of October, beginning of November. Like definitely before the end of this year, it seems like that thing's wrapped up. So,
yeah. So that's going to be more. All those games, right, are going to be. Do they automatically go to Game Pass? Everything.
Phil mentioned, and I'm sure MVG can attest to this because of how much work that still goes into it. But he said it's because he got that question fielded. Will stuff just immediately appear? And we got to do things in the background for the store and setting up the game to be correct and compatible with MVG. I'm sure understands more of that.
You have to port them to Game Pass basically, but not in a port from one platform to another. But there is some work that needs to be done to get them kind of ready for Game Pass. So it's not just something that'll automatically happen. But I would say they're probably working on some stuff right now because, it's just a formality now. It's really just a matter of time of when this thing actually gets done. So I would think that they're probably working on getting some games ready for Game Pass. I know they did that when Bethesda was acquired, when the first day it went live, they had a bunch of games that they had dropped on Game
30
Pass.
30 games or something. Yeah, they roll.
Yep. So I would expect something similar to happen this time around with the Activision games. Maybe some of the legacy Call of Duty games or just
that whole library just drops in there. Yeah, so that'd be pretty big for them. Let's see. Let me go over to some of the super chats here. X Trash lost to King Nintendo says RGT85 right about Slick Philly at the strip club. Mike says, what do you think will sell more, Mario Wonder or Super Mario 2? Mario Wonder or Spider-Man 2? I feel Mario Wonder simply due to the amount of Switches sold compared to PS5s.
Mario Wonder.
I'd agree with that. There's just a lot of Switches out there right now, yeah. So let's see. Barack Obama says, great show. You have presidential seal of approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Barack.
EJ says, I just bought a modified Wii on Etsy, mainly to play GameCube games. Would there be any advantage to have a modified GameCube with Pico Boot or Swiss installed instead? The Game Boy player, but you can just emulate the games on the Wii as well.
You're good with the Wii. It's a good machine for GameCube.
It is. Tijo says, I think the industry needs to do more to preserve games in their original forms. Emulation is a start, but it's not enough, and no remakes and remasters don't count. Let's see.
Well, the best you're going to get is emulation.
Well,
I mean, what else would you do?
Carbon engine. Give me money for the carbon engine.
They said remakes and remasters don't count. Hold on. I don't know. A museum? I don't know. What do you do?
I feel like Sean, the two things to do.
Museum?
Go build one.
No.
So
we got the Video Game Preservation Society. They will solve everything for you. Do not worry. They are hard at work scanning a magazine.
I don't know. I'd prefer to go to the RGT museum. I imagine there'd be like an open bar or something.
You know what, Sean? I needed an issue of Edge number 20 the other day.
And you got it off archive.org.
I could not find it anywhere.
Okay.
Can you find it for me?
You call up the Preservation Society.
I was about to say, how do I get a hold of them?
They got you. It'll be an archive for.
How do I do that?
People,
I need it because I had that prototype PlayStation controller. Apparently, it was featured in Edge issue number 20, and I thought, wow, that would be really cool to get a snippet of that and put it in the video. I was having a really hard time finding it. If you could find it, that'd be great. But I thought to myself, I said, wait a minute. I could ask the society, and I have no idea how to contact them, get any of that. I don't know.
You should have tweeted Frank Cifaldi. I'm sure he would have helped you out.
Okay.
But what if they don't have it?
A lot of questions to ask then. A lot of questions to bring up there. That would actually be really funny if they didn't have it, but like one of their main pictures is them scanning magazines. Spooky says, I'm here for RGT and the latest Switch 2 news.
And then come to the after show, Spooky Narukami.
Oh, gosh. Doctor said, actually, last time we had the after show, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Nothing went off the rails.
I'm still not going to it.
Why?
Doctor says, do you guys think the gaming industry will reach a boiling point in terms of budgeting and studios not being able to take a single miss or else face closure?
We're already seeing it
now.
Right now.
We're seeing it right now.
Striking distance and
Yeah, didn't just what was it? Callisto Protocol.
Ascendant Studios. We talked about Immortals of Avium on the Direct Xbox podcast, and 2 weeks later they shed half their studio because it didn't sell. So that was quick. Nick says, if the Switch 2 is backwards compatible, do you think Nintendo would do the $10 upgrade path for enhanced versions of past games if we own them?
maybe.
I mean, it's possible. They've done something I think it was like, what was it? A transfer to like 3DS to where like you can play your virtual console. It's like $1 upgrade or something like that. I mean, so they've done a very ghetto version of that. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure what they're gonna do.
Yeah, it's hard to say completely what their plan is for backwards compatibility. The best case scenario, it just works. Worst case scenario is it doesn't. They sell you remasters. We're probably somewhere in between. So Zoop says, based on Metacritic, I assume Payday are some of those games that are mid but lack better direct competition. Another one was Daemon X Machina. I think the reviews you're seeing right now for Payday are because of lack of content, and then the user scores because it does not work. That's really why. James says, if Nate's report about fast storage speed for NG Switch is correct, what does it mean for adding removable storage like SD cards? No go? There's a new format newer format for SD card. What are we on right now? UHS. So I have to double check. We're like the Switch is using an older format that's slower than what's available now. So maybe that would work to get around. Also, I think there's just different things they're doing when it comes to like direct to storage and stuff inside the new system that's getting it done. But whatever it takes, get rid of those load times. I'm cool with that. Sean told me there's 40-second load times in Mortal Kombat. I almost fell over my chair.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have the heart to tell him it was like 1 second on the PS5.
You did tell me. You told me directly after that. And I was like,
I actually, yeah, you're right. I kind of laughed when I was telling you too.
Yeah. See, you're such a liar, Pinocchio.
Trevor says, Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door will be 20 years old on Friday, October 11th, 2024. Nintendo typically releases games on Fridays. What are the chances they save it for the 20th anniversary? October 11th. Wow, I don't know if they release that. I feel like that's a nice summer game, I feel like.
Yeah, Luigi's Mansion summer could be like a late summer type of game, early fall. I don't know.
Paper Mario. That seems like a June or July game.
Paper Mario Color Splash that came out I think at the very end of the Wii U's life, so I guess it varies when it comes out.
Bat says, can Xbox go 1 month without acquisition talks?
No.
The current one's been ongoing for forever. Zbat says, let's see. Hey John, congrats on 708K. Also, what's Pokimane been up to here lately? Do you think she knows where Dreamcast guy has been? Cheers. Probably not.
I don't know. There must be some type of inside joke there.
I guess.
I don't know the inside joke.
Travel says, I bought too many games on my PS5 and have a hard time finishing a game as a 29-year-old professional. Advice to get back into completing games again.
Focus on one at a time. Buy
shorter games.
If it's an open world game, just stay the course.
No,
they're going to try to pull you off that course every time with side quests. Stay the course. Just go through it. Shorter games are good too, right? That's what I mean. I know there's this push to make games ridiculously long. I still like the shorter games. I'm fine with them.
The best way is the games that have a ton of content, but it's all side stuff.
Yeah.
You can get through the main game in like 20 hours or 30 hours, and then there's like 100 hours of like extra content.
Then you're paying for the stuff you might not make it to. I mean, you could just play a side scroller, beat 'em up, and complete the game and be done.
Well, I mean, you would have paid I mean, a lot of people are paying $70 or full price for games that are just 20 or 30 hours anyway, right? Like a God of War. Like if that's like what, I don't know how long Ragnarok is or whatever, but it's like
not that,
yeah. So I mean, and yeah, there's side stuff too, but people would pay full price just to play just in that one experience, right? So I don't mind like if you get extra, like what was it, FF7 Rebirth, right? It's like 30 hours the main story, but if you do everything, it's like 100 hours. Most people aren't going to do everything. But you'll buy it anyway. You'll play it. It'll be fun, right? Or no? Am I wrong on
that? Dark Dream says, I watched the Tokyo Game Show Rebirth show with Maximilian Dude, and we both had roughly the same reaction the whole time. My go-to reactions. Also, Spider-Man 2, Venom playable. Anyone think so? It's been teased.
Maybe.
I could see that. I think that might be one of the cool things at the end or something that I'm somehow spoiling without realizing that you play as Venom.
Way to go.
You're welcome.
Talked about a game you spoiled.
Rebirth looks great though. Yeah, the Tokyo Game Show stuff was phenomenal. I love what I'm seeing from Rebirth.
MVG, do you want to talk very, very briefly about the Unity situation that you were observing from afar on Twitter? Because when they first described it, it did not go over well. Pay per downloads. I don't know how they would track that. They said that people would self-report their download installation.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds right. That's you would put your big budget game in those hands. Okay.
Yeah. So Unity has essentially kind of walked it back. Not entirely, but after 2 weeks of outcry from the game development community, quite rightfully so, being very, very concerned about the kind of 20-cent install fee or the 20-cent uninstall fee, where they were essentially just basically, in a situation potentially where they could have literally bankrupted out a smaller indie studio. They've decided to, regroup and come back with a better plan. I think people are more accepting of this one. But I think the difficulty for Unity is they've still kind of really lost a lot of trust from the community. And I think now that the situation really is about whether we can trust Unity with these new plans that they're proposing. I don't want to talk about like the entire plans, but basically, I think Unity Personal, which is kind of the base version, and Unity Plus, they've relaxed a lot of restrictions on those. Now, the powered by Unity logos, you don't have to have those in the Unity Personal, which is big. I know that you have to pay a certain amount of money for that to get removed. And overall, it's a better plan, and I think developers are generally accepting of it, but they still have some overarching kind of trust issues with Unity themselves.
They say that on a monthly basis, you have a choice of the lesser of 2.5% revenue share or the calculated amount based on unique initial engagements,
right?
Which I assume are just installations.
Yeah, and the 2.5% revenue share is, I think it's kind of the best in the industry. Like they're trying to undercut Unreal Engine because I believe they're 4%. But here's the thing: Unreal Engine, they don't give a shit. They've got Fortnite. Like they can basically keep it at 4%. They're not real. Like they're not going to feel anything from Unity because they've got Fortnite. They're obviously the biggest engine maker in the world. But Unity coming in trying to undercut them is interesting. But we'll see how it goes. I think the real interesting part of this will be whether they actually do regain the trust of developers, which could take some time. Some people, I already know that some people are moving away from Unity. They're moving to Godot. People that I know are learning Godot as we speak, and they're basically saying, hey, I can port my stuff to Godot. It's going to take me a little bit of time. Some people are looking at basically doing engine swaps as well. But we'll see. I guess, this is going to be interesting to see over the next kind of year or so what we'll start to see from developers, whether they do, stick with Unity or if they move away. I think there's a consensus that if you've heavily invested in the Unity kind of ecosystem, it's very, very difficult to move away from it. But there are other people that I've spoken to that are basically saying, this is the change that I've wanted, so I'm going to just move off of off of Unity going forward.
What games have been made with Godot? I don't know if I've really looked into that as much.
There are some commercial games that were made with Godot. The one that does come to mind, which didn't launch very well, was Sonic Colors, I believe. That actually was a Godot game. I'm actually looking at it right now. Like the remaster of that.
Okay, notable video games with Godot.
Sonic Colors Ultimate was made using the Godot engine. I know Sonic Colors Ultimate, when it came out, was a bit all over the place, but I think it's
Deponia.
Yeah, there's a few. It's definitely something that is obviously a lot less kind of mature as something like Unreal Engine and Unity. But it's open source, it's free.
Oh, wow.
There's been like a lot of people investing money in the future of Godot as well. So it's an interesting engine to consider, and hopefully we'll see it used more going forward.
Yeah, it's a good one for somebody who just kind of wants to mess around with game development. Let me try this out. Let me see, just to kind of play around with the idea of maybe not like a massive Unreal Engine, scale game where they're making Lies of P or something, but just personal project. That's a good one if it's open source and free.
Yep.
Oh, okay. There you go. People ask that all the time about like game engines and stuff. There's Godot's right there. There you go. And I guess if people really do run to it like that, it could see some pretty quick developments just in general. So, interesting. I feel like it needs that big game like Sonic Colors. You said didn't come out in the best shape, but it was still Sonic Colors working in Godot. It needs like that one big game that gets people like talking about it. So.
Yeah, it absolutely does. But I think
Cassette Beast was made in Godot. Someone just said.
Yeah, I mean, over time we'll start to see Godot used in more kind of commercial products. I think there's some hesitation there because it is kind of open source and it hasn't been around for as long. So it's. I mean, if you kind of commit to an engine, then you kind of there, you're there for the whole shebang. It's either all or nothing, right? So you want to make sure that the engine that you invest in is going to hold up, when you ship a commercial game.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens with Unity as we go forward, but interesting stuff. They did end up backtracking. I'm curious to see if people stick with it or move off. Tokyo Game Show. It happened. Sean, you're not as happy or excited about the event. We had an Xbox showcase there. There was Capcom, and then some of the other companies just showed off different games like Deca Police. I feel like the big one that everyone was talking about was definitely Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So we can touch on that a bit here.
You're gonna spoil that game too, you fuck?
Somebody actually did in the super chats. Let me see if I can find it. I can read it.
Word for word.
The Casual Noob Gamer says John has spoiled Final Fantasy VII so much that I feel he's confessing for killing Aerith when he discusses Final Fantasy VII Rebirth tonight. Shame. Hey, we don't know what's going to happen in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Things are different now. Things are changed.
I heard Zach from Zach and Wiki's Adventure or whatever is going to be in the game, right?
What?
What, Zach Braff or something?
No, not Zach and Wiki. Zach from Crisis Core.
It should be Zach from that. Where's the Zach and Wiki 2?
Aren't you RPG 85? Don't you like RPGs? You like Sea of Stars, right? That it was a great game. You like Shin Megami Tensei 5? That was a great game. What's happened? Where's the excitement for these ones?
I'm very excited for Rebirth. I enjoyed Final Fantasy 7. I beat it in like 2 days.
Sean showed up after Final Fantasy VII came. Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core came out, and you were like, "Why did no one ever tell me this game was good?"
John, I say that to you when you tell me a game is good, and then I end up liking it. Like, how have you not picked up on that? And I'll always say, "You never told me this was good," because I don't want to give you credit for anything.
I'm looking forward to 5 years from now when you tell me how good the Boys is.
No, man, you're never getting that.
The Boys.
Although you did. No, I gave you credit for the Flash. That
was fun, right?
It wasn't a great movie.
Oh no,
but I enjoyed it more than I did the Joker because there was fucking Batman in this shit.
Oh gosh, the Joker was a good movie though.
Was it?
Oh man, really? The Joker was good. The Flash wasn't a good movie, but it had like the stuff for the fans, I will say, things that didn't happen in movies and stuff, and things that did. It was fun for what it was. I don't know. People were looking for like some heavy hitting piece of cinema. And I'm just like, oh, the Flash is really fast. That's cool. Then that's about it. So,
and Michael Keaton was in it.
oh, I thought you were about to say something else right there.
No,
thought you were about to. Okay, good.
I'm not you.
I didn't spoil anything about the Flash to you.
No, you didn't. And you didn't respond to my messages quickly either. I was annoyed.
The ones where you were all caps yelling on Twitter about different things.
Yeah, because I had to go in the kitchen and get something to eat, and I didn't pause it, and then I felt like I was missing something. Like, what's going on here?
You could just rewind it.
Nah, time is precious.
But you probably took a nap that day.
No, I didn't, because I watched the movie instead.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was shown off quite heavily, and the game looks phenomenal so far. We haven't played it yet, but it looks really good. OJ, you were pretty excited for this one.
Yeah. You're not allowed to say that you would hope the future of the franchise goes in this direction. I learned that from Final Fantasy Twitter.
I saw you fighting with the Final Fantasy people on Twitter.
I was not fighting. I was simply stating my opinion that it would be nice.
Your opinion at that.
It would be pretty. I said no hate towards FF16, but it would be great if they went forward. I think it's going to prove that this style of having like the elements that make Final Fantasy good continue on. Not like, no, you can't control any other party member. Not like equipment is somewhat useless at times. Mini games are kind of not there. Like, they went in a direction, and that's fine. And FF16 is fantastic, but a lot of the stuff that was missing is like here in Rebirth, and it's incredible. You can apply this formula and to future Final Fantasies, and it's going to be great. Like, look at what they've done. They've evolved what they did with FF7 Remake. It's way better than what they've done with FF7 Remake, right? And they can take that for the next Final Fantasy game, and they can apply it in different types of ways. The dual techs look great. The graphics look great. The open-ended areas look fun. It's no more claustrophobic. Like FF7's kind of claustrophobic where you fight. It's so much more open, and it looks like a much better game because they're reiterating on what made it great. So for me personally, the FF16 is fine. It's great, and I get Final Fantasy fans say, "Oh, well, they can be different." That's fine, but I would just love to see them in the future have it to where I can control another party member. Like, I don't know if there needs to be like either or, and this game, they brought that back. And the only reason why I'm comparing them is because they're so close to each other. Like, it's within less than a year. This game comes out in February. Mm-hmm. So it's within less than a year. Two major Final Fantasy games. People still compare Xenoblade X and saying that they want that compared to the new Xenoblade game. And Xenoblade X came out, what? How many years ago? Like damn near 10 years ago now. And people are saying, oh, I'd love to see them do this. I love that. And I'm like, that's cool. That's fine. If you like that, then that's fine. So that's the only reason why. I mean, crazy Final Fantasy fans you're not allowed to say that you wouldn't want it in one type of way, or at least you would think like it would be better if they did it this type of way with the RPG. So like, I don't care. Crazy Final Fantasy fans, like, you're not allowed to say anything, like, not even like bad about Final Fantasy 16. I just said it'd be like, this is going to prove that this formula is better. Like, when the game comes out, and everybody starts playing it, they're going to be like, look at all these cool elements. That's what I saw from all the Final Fantasy fans and people playing it there. Everyone's like, oh my God, look at all this cool stuff. You can change characters. You can do dual text. You can do this. You can all those elements that were gone from FF16, like all that stuff down here, it's praised. It's great. All the stuff they said it doesn't need. Final Fantasy doesn't need that. And 16 is great. It's fine. And that's cool, but it has a lot of those elements that people, that people said that have been part of Final Fantasy, and now they're back, and it's on the PS5, and it looks better than ever. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, that's the impressions that I got from people that played the game, people that looked at the game. So I just said, hey, this formula's better, like, than what we got. These games are coming out close to each other, so I just did a little comparison. But you're not allowed to do that because it's Final Fantasy 16. So
I liked Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I didn't like the way the direction the story was going. And I will say that I'm going to pick this up and play because, of course, I am. I love Final Fantasy, but hopefully the story is a good one. They just don't, just kind of change it all up in a way which I don't like. But we'll see. I mean, you just have to put your trust into the development team, and I think ultimately it's going to be a good game.
I hope there's less padding.
Yes,
than there was in the first and Final Fantasy 7 remake.
Agreed.
They addressed that because the game has 20 to 30 hour, or I think it's like a 30-hour campaign, and it has 100 hours of side content. So I think this time they feel it's fine. Like, hey, we don't have to pad the main story when we've got all this side content. Final Fantasy 7, they were like struggling to get content in there for it to be worth the full price because they had to build so much and it took so long.
It's because they made it all stay in Midgar. They were
exactly
in Midgar, so the sewer has to go on for 3 hours for some reason.
Exactly, right. It was all there, so they were kind of struggling to build out that story and what they wanted to tell. But I think with this one, they were able to say, okay, we don't have those restraints. We have more characters. We have Red 13. We've got Yuffie. We've got everybody, not everybody, but we've got, a lot more to work with material wise. But I mean, I agree with MVG. Like, the story, like the structure of FF7 was, oh my goodness. Some of the way that you went through certain things, like that one, the sewer where you have like those weird levers or like those things, like just the structure of the game is just kind of weird at times. So, I mean, all that seems to be improved upon greatly. So that's where I was like, crazy Final Fantasy fans are getting upset.
Well, they also said it's going to be one big, like the world's going to be completely connected and it's completely like it's open. It opens up as you go, but it's one you can just basically traverse around. Where 16, we did have the map that we teleported around MVG, where it's like, okay, go here. It's closed off. Some of the areas are big, but it's closed off. It sounds like it's going to be open, like you just go to it. And they did tease. Okay, it's going to be spoiled. They teased a certain vehicle at the end, okay, and then they showed.
Here we fucking go.
See. Then they showed what looks like Emerald weapon. All right, so I assume we're fighting the different weapons in this game, or at least one of them. They could change things up. I don't know, but I figure most of the different weapons will be there too that we're gonna fight. So, which means we need a submarine. So I assume that's the vehicle they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. This is fantastic. I like the direction. Like I said, Final Fantasy, this is where it should go going forward. Like you can make Final Fantasy 17 and it can be a whole new cast of characters and all this, and then just evolve on this and add new things, be innovative, because there's cool new stuff in this game too. So it's like, that's all I was coming from. I just would like to be able to control party members and stuff like that. That's it. Just the basic stuff,
Well, they're gonna have 16's gonna have DLC going forward, so they could play around with some stuff, I'm sure, in it.
Yeah, that's true. Final Fantasy 15, you were not able to control their party members, and then they added it later, which that was a big complaint, though. People actually voiced their complaints from the very beginning with that, like, what the hell? Why can't I control the person next to me? Which people did voice that complaint too, but a lot of people pushed back on that, saying, no, it's okay. Like, no, it's like, but wait a minute, Sid is so badass. Why would you not want to control Sid in the game,
Well, Naoki Yoshida was reading YouTube comments about the game, remember? And he was looking at the feedback, and his thought was, why are people so mean?
people did it in a No, I agree. No, I saw that. People did it in a very mean way. It was not constructive whatsoever in terms of how they were saying. Like, some people were going insane on him. I never went insane. I played it for 16. I never went insane on him. I never said it was the trash or the worst developer ever. I didn't go that far.
It was pretty funny. He's like, I don't get it. Why are these people so mean?
He's like, they don't even know me.
It was pretty funny. Like, I know he's having a serious moment, but it was like, welcome to our world, buddy.
A million people quote tweeting me, telling me I'm a liar.
Rebirth looks good. I'm excited for it. I'm there day one. That's February. Josie, you play Intergrade yet?
I have not. I don't know how to feel about.
Time?
Yeah. I'll try.
You won't like it. You won't like it.
You're out of time. Don't listen to him.
No, it's like a 30-hour
Never
game, and it's a fun game. It's good.
Yeah, and 15 hours is like literally one level that you just.
Oh my god!
No, I agree. There's some serious.
But Josie, it's not like the turn-based Final Fantasy 7 you played before. It's more action-oriented.
Yeah, I have it downloaded on my PS5. I just haven't.
It is one of the better-looking PS5 games too, like visually speaking.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it's graphics wise, it's great. I mean, this one doesn't look. It looked pretty similar. I think the new one looks obviously better, but
fire it up, go through the first level because it starts pretty quick, and just see what you think of the controls and stuff, Josie, and then decide from there.
It's a
Okay.
hybrid. It's like
yeah, it is. I think it would pull you in pretty quick. It's a good game.
It has turn-based out. I mean, you can pause and like do like where it slows things down and then like do attacks and like it's like ATB. Like you have like an ATB bar like segmented. So it's cool. Just some other stuff with it. Like MVG said, the story can be a little the padding can be a little The air combat's also god awful. Like it looks like you're being pulled up by like what was it, like a string like on a play?
Oh, Xbox's showcase was all right. I think their biggest thing that they got out of it was their Sega and Square partnership continues, where they have Sega bringing Like a Dragon, so they have the Man Who Erases Name, and then just Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm sorry, Like a Dragon Ishin, that's the one going in. So they're getting more of those titles just dropping in day one, but Infinite Wealth, that's not a Game Pass title, but it is going to Xbox, and that's happening next year. Is that also a February game? Hold on.
February is crazy.
Like
if it is, I hope
February game.
February is insane if that's the case.
Let me make sure. January 26th. So
pretty much.
Yeah, right there. So I think that for them was good. And then for Square, they did get Octopath Traveler 2. That is coming out to the Xbox next year.
But we don't know if it's Game Pass or not. Right?
It's interesting because the first one was Game Pass, so you kind of feel like they would do the same thing with the second, but who knows? I mean, Square still hasn't moved Octopath Traveler 1 to the PlayStation, but they put 2 there. So who knows?
Hey, listen, for those that are Xbox fans that were waiting, Octopath Traveler 2 is dope. So obviously,
check it out.
Yeah, I get it.
We also had Level 5 showing Deca Police.
Oh,
RJ, you were pretty excited about this one.
I was very, very excited for this one. They kind of changed up some of the combat and gameplay, but the weirdest thing with this is that they still say 2023, but they have no
I'm gonna
date.
ask you about that. I don't see anything about a date for this, but they said 2023. It's almost October.
Yeah, I have it. Apparently, somebody that was playing the demo, I think Genki, or somebody said that they were playing the demo. And they asked them about it, and they said that it might get delayed.
I mean, it's probably getting delayed.
I said, it might get delayed.
I hope they drop this second week of February.
Please no February. If they do, please early January if you can. Please early January. If it's going to be delayed out of 2023, early January. But yeah, Deca Police looks super cool. They switched over the combat to it's like a ATB, and it has action elements now. It used to be more of just like a straight up turn base. But now there's actually action elements where you can dodge and like you can move around and do different things while you do that. And then it has like this ATB bar, like a shared ATB bar. The only problem though is that they removed the control from the other characters. So that's good and it's bad.
They stole Final Fantasy 16 and they wanted a piece of it.
Yeah. So that's the thing that I don't like. But I do like the fact that you do have those action elements put in there, and like the combat seems way more involved in terms of things instead of just straight up turn based. So I do like that about it. But no, I mean Deca Police looks great. The graphics, it was on PS5 that they showed it up there. It looks great. Don't know how the Switch version is going to turn out, but no, it looks really good. I'm looking forward to the game.
You falling asleep over there, Sean?
No, I'm chilling.
What?
No, I'm chilling.
You cold over there, buddy?
Is it cold?
Yeah, it's cold in the Northeast. It's like 50 something degrees out.
Oh my God, dude.
Yikes.
Oh, it does. It says 61 degrees out.
Keep me away, you cold ass Eskimos.
I don't run the heat.
You don't run the heat at all.
No, I mean, I'll put it on like 55, but that's about it.
50? You put your air conditioner on 55?
No, I put the heat on 55.
So it doesn't go. So it doesn't turn on unless it goes. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, unless it gets like 55, then it'll turn on.
I can't live there, bro. It's nice.
No, it's great. You just throw on a sweatshirt. Nah, you gotta sweat your fucking balls off and shit. You got people shitting on the sidewalk and stuff. I'm like, nah.
You cold ass. You
Not
be
a thing.
freezing your balls off every single year. Oh, you're
great.
blanket.
You get snow. You get fucking seasons and shit. You ever heard of a season before? It's pretty.
This man is wearing a sweater and he has a blanket. And it's talking about, oh, this is great. Bullshit.
I'm in a basement.
Bullshit. You got a sweater.
It's not a sweater. It's a long sleeve shirt.
No, I'm good. It's nice. It's 80 degrees.
That sounds nice. Almost 50 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
50 degrees.
Ideal.
window.
It's my ideal operating
I have
temperature.
two big windows right here. I might open them. That sounds nice.
No.
Well, let me ask you this. Capcom did their event. Sean, you didn't even make anything yelling at him about this. You
I
didn't
didn't
even
watch it
You didn't even have the energy. You didn't even bother with their event. Wow.
because these weren't events.
It was a
Like-
showcase. They called it a showcase.
Well, they shouldn't have.
Oh. Well, their showcase didn't really have much. Like, it's not even worth going over. Like, everything they announced was already announced prior. But they did talk about Monster Hunter. And I feel like people were hoping that there would be something substantial here for Monster Hunter. You know, Tokyo Game Show, they've made announcements for Monster Hunter before. They just announced that there was the 20th anniversary is next year in March.
Wow,
That was
awesome.
It wasn't great. I mean, people were like, okay, that's cool, I guess, but that's it. So I think it's pretty obvious the follow-up to, I assume, Monster Hunter World is happening next year, and they're going to probably announce it around that time. It's just weird to do anything like that here when you probably could have just, I mean, everything in their showcase was like email worthy. Like, you could have just sent this out and it would have been fine. So not great there, but a lot of the hands-on time people had, like going to Tokyo Game Show, it actually looked like a pretty good event being there in person. There was a lot of hands-on demos for these games. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like you said, Deca Police. It was interesting to see it in full swing again, because Tokyo Game Show has been kind of like, with all the COVID stuff that's happening and them being it was a very digital event for a while. It looks like they're like back to normal now with a lot of that stuff. So a lot of excitement over there for those events. But Tokyo Game Show, nothing crazy or new necessarily coming out of there.
Yeah. That's why I did no live streams for it, because people are like, are you going to live stream it? Are you going to step? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? Just wait. The news will come out, then we'll talk about it afterwards. Mainly it's like the hands-on time stuff. Like people got hands-on and previews of like big games coming out early next year and this year. So that's cool.
A lot of good previews and updates coming out of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, there was 40. It was like there was a whole stage show for Deca Police, and there was people getting demos, getting to play the game. So that was great. That was good for the Japanese audience.
Jeff asks, why is Sega releasing 2 big JRPGs a week apart? As a fan of Yakuza and Persona, I'm happy the games are coming out, but I don't understand the business decision. Anyway, thanks for the great content.
Yeah, I can answer that one. It's because they feel that it's a different audience.
Yeah, how much overlap do we think there is between?
Yeah, I don't think there's much, because like I don't care about Yakuza games at all. Like I'm not. I mean, I played.
Oh,
before,
you might like the most recent. You might like the most recent one, OJ. The like Dragon.
I might, but I'm just
The turn-based classic RPG.
I'm far more of a Persona fan. So for me, it's like Persona is by far the game that I want to pick up.
It's a weird series. There's some odd stuff that happens in that game.
Yeah, I played Like a Dragon. I played that.
It's a very strange game.
Yeah, it's cool, but the Persona is just.
You'd like that game too, Sean.
I know. I played some Yakuza games before.
Did you play?
I kind of fell out of
like
them,
like a Dragon. You might enjoy that one just because of the ridiculousness of
Wait, which is the one that has Daytona 2 in it? Because that's the one I'm getting.
That's the new one coming out.
Yeah.
It has Virtual Fighter 3 in it too.
Oh, dude. Let's go.
But it's not the team battle one, which kind of sucks. I like the
But
TV.
The Daytona 2 thing is pretty hype.
Yeah, I'll probably buy it for that.
What? You can just emulate it.
It's a Sega Model 3 game, John. Do you know anything about Sega Model 3 emulation? It's not exactly like the best in the world. Like it's good, but it's not great.
Interesting. Zoob asks, a multiplayer game like Payday getting a fresh start sequel is good because now I can join people who play the series I wanted to play with. I mean, sure.
You can't play it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need the servers to work.
We do a 4-player lobby. There's 4 players max. It won't start. It's like looking for a match. It's like, no, you stupid fucking game. We're here. Put us in the goddamn level.
Isaiah asks, Sean, Joe Mama just got me a PS5. What game should I buy first?
My mom ain't buy you shit, motherfucker. But if I was you, I really still like Ratchet and Clank a lot. If you never played Spider-Man, I'd go ahead and get Spider-Man and
which
Miles
one, Remastered
Morales.
or Miles Morales? Which one do you start first?
I would do Spider-Man 1 first, and then Miles Morales. Yeah, that's what I would do.
There you go. Josh says Lies of P gets far harder. Amazing game. My game of the year. Yo, I'm expecting it to get very difficult. Yes, that's just luring me in with some of these boss battles. I'm sure. Spooky says, okay, we need Josie to download Ape Escape PSP to PS5.
Why?
Josie, go ahead and get on that.
Okay.
I don't know. That's
Do you not like Primates?
They're not like my first choice.
What do you prefer?
I don't know.
Like a dolphin? Do you have like a Lisa Frank case with like dolphins and unicorns and rainbows on it? Is Lisa Frank still around?
Who's Lisa Frank? I was just
I
about to
do
ask
remember
that.
Lisa
You
Frank.
just aged yourself.
Because
Are you having a
the
stroke,
dudes
Sean?
had
What's
Trapper
happening?
Keepers. Chicks had fucking Lisa Frank shit.
Who?
Trapper?
What
Wait,
is
hold
it?
on. Are Trapper Keepers still like is that still a thing?
Yes, they came back.
Did
Josie-
they really?
See, Miss
Wow.
Click had some Lisa Frank shit.
Yeah, Lisa Frank. Josie, you would have loved Lisa Frank when you were a kid if it was still around.
Trapper
It's-
Keepers came back though.
What is it?
Yeah, they came back.
It's like little like accessories and assortments for like toys that like you can like make like bracelets and
I
stuff
feel
like
like
that. You used to be able
Google
to
would
order them
solve
from,
this
like,
pretty
Like
heavily.
folders and shit.
yeah, folders, just various different little trinkets and stuff for little girls to play with. And usually what you do is you order them at school. They're called book orders, but you can get Lisa Frank stuff in there and you would order it from there. You take it home to your
I'll buy
parents.
you some Lisa Frank for Christmas.
Yeah, you take it home to your
Alright.
parents. Like they'll
Later.
give you the book order at school, and then you take it home. Then your parent, then you fill it out, and then you bring it back with the money, and then you get the book in like, or you get whatever in like a couple weeks.
Josie's writing on an
Interesting.
iPad right now. People look old.
Josie's like, you Neanderthals, you old ass,
What is this paper and pen you
Prius-
speak of?
prehistoric.
I wrote on an iPad one time. It was
That's all
once
it took.
in the after show.
Josie's like, I already ordered everything from Lisa Frank. I already got it done. I'm modern.
It says, if we ever do get a Chrono Trigger remake, do you think it will take the HD 2D route or get more of the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment since it's just a classic?
It's not getting the Final
It
Fantasy
needs
VII
I
remake.
need the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment because I got to see the reaction online where they just change everything.
Oh no, that is they will not spend that money on Chrono Trigger. Like if it happens, they'll probably just be like a, an enhancement, like a HD 2D, or just might be just the game itself, like
Be a
and
cell
just
phone
put
game.
out.
Cell phone
Yeah.
game. Well, they have the cell phone game. It's out. You can
Yeah,
get
but
it on
this
phone.
will be a new one. It'll look slightly different.
Yeah, well, that's probably it. Rufflemutt says GameStop and Amazon offer deals on digital games, but they don't sell PlayStation digital games because PlayStation cutting all that out. They're ahead of the curve. Can't buy anything PlayStation cards or nothing from anyone other than them. They're preparing for that digital system for the PS6. This is from X Arrow says, but they are out of stock at GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
What's that for? Is that maybe Payday? Maybe I don't know.
It might have been for Lisa Frank.
Oh, okay. Got it. Sot says, I'm a big movie collector. 4K discs scratch way easy. Josh
Fuckers.
asks, any of you guys going to Retro Game Con in Syracuse?
No.
I am
Hell
not.
no.
I didn't even know that was happening.
Hell no.
Hmm.
Yeah, you think it's cold here because he runs it during the winter.
Yeah, it's too damn cold. I ain't want to know cold ass igloo
Wow.
place. No.
When is that? In Syracuse.
I think it's November.
Hell, oh my God, East Coast in November?
Right here. It is
No, sir. I will pass.
Just in case anyone was curious, it says, wait, does this say October? October 7th and 8th?
Oh, then weather won't be bad.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. Hey, there you go, people. Anyone out there looking for a convention? You're in the Syracuse area. There you go. Retro Game Con, October 7th and 8th. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5. We have Jesse with a message or a super chat, no message. Thanks, Jesse. With says the Microsoft that doesn't want used games still exist. I'm sure the publishers out there don't want used games. Remember when they used to do the sports game like Madden and they put a little code in there and you had to use it once to activate online, otherwise you give them $10.
Freaking hated that, man.
They're trying
Terrible.
everything.
Terrible.
Yum Yum says, if digital is the future, I do not want video games must require an interconnection for me to play my video games. What is your input on this?
Preach, brother.
Oh, probably not going to
Calm
have
down
any
over there.
games then. I don't know.
All it takes is one really good game to come out and everyone goes, all right, cool. let me go ahead and just buy this right now.
Here's my credit card.
Preach, brother.
I told you.
Jesse again, no message. Thanks, Jesse. Croak says 50-50 here on digital and physical. Game share saves money. That's true. If you have a game share partner, you can cut it in half. Xera says Switch 5G pushed by Verizon.
I like it.
No, thank you.
X Trash lost to King Nintendo. Says another Eden had a collab with Chrono Cross before the remaster. Now Brave Exeus has a Parasite Eve random collab. Potential hopeful remaster soon.
Yeah.
Getting Sean's hopes up.
Wouldn't hold your breath.
Yeah, don't hold your breath for it.
Let's see. Prinny says, don't let these Xbox leaks distract you all from the fact that Paper Mario Remake might be running at 30 FPS. Yeah, I will say, I think we're running off of that trailer, but who knows? I mean, we've seen the opposite. Trailers show up at 60 and the thing's 30. We'll see.
Remember Redfall?
I was just waiting for the game to come out.
Yeah, hey, that patch is coming, MVG.
One day.
I finally played Redfall.
Oh, gosh. Oh, hold on. You played Redfall, but you didn't play Final Fantasy 7 Integrate?
Well, I wanted to see what it was. It was horrific.
Did you play, Did you play co-op or did you just play by yourself?
I just played by myself.
Oh yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
The fun is playing with your stupid friends and yelling at them.
You know,
can you play like local co-op?
Just not playing the game, but playing a much better game. Like just play a different game altogether. That's not.
Well, I played it for like 30 minutes because it was bad.
30 minutes wasted. No, I'm joking.
I mean, Integrate's on PlayStation Plus Extra. There you go. On that, okay. Sean will jump on and play co-op with you, Josie. All right, we'll volunteer Sean. There you go.
You paying me?
No.
$5.
Josie.
Oh, Josie,
you know they made a Pinocchio game on the Game Boy?
What?
Playing it now. You've got to be a good boy, Pinocchio.
Okay, thank you. Josie does need to download Party Animals, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Jackson says Microsoft buying all these companies won't help if their management of those studios is as bad as their management with their homegrown studios. To let Activision work. They got the Call of Duty thing figured out. Yeah, Lucio says last time you talked about Apple releasing console, Apple TV isn't the closest thing, just lacking power and a controller. Oh yeah, it's not as powerful, obviously. Doesn't have a controller either. Gotta use the DualSense. Apple would have to take a serious swing if they wanted to get into the console market. That's all I'll say. Sean says, do you put hot sauce on all at first or bite by bite?
All.
Okay. Kratos says, thank you all for the content. Screw RGT. John is
Fuck
better.
you.
MVG is the GOAT. Josie, keep it real. Evan doesn't get enough credit, and OJ is the best for last. There you go. Backstage says, remember when I suggested a Zelda May Cry? I changed Bayonetta's costume to Link. Close enough. There you go. Then Backstage says, I'm more excited for Kingdom Hearts 4 than anything else. Kingdom Hearts will always be special to me. I kind of forgot Kingdom Hearts 4 was a thing for a while there, I'll admit. After they revealed it, it's kind of went quiet.
They should totally make like a Devil May Cry style game, but with Sheik. I'd be down for that.
Sonic says, RGT, if emulating Resident Evil 2 1998, what happens with disc swapping and carrying saves? Emulation King.
He's probably taking a shit. He's taking a shit. Let him.
Emulation
Getting
King.
another blanket because it's so cold.
Okay.
Well, I can answer it. Is the question asking about how does emulation handle
right? What happens?
games?
What happens when you have to swap a disc?
It's been solved for years. You just basically just give it the new ISO image and you just proceed.
Oh wow, okay, good. I feel like one of the emulators I used was able to recognize that the disc needed to be swapped, and it asks you basically where the ISO is. I feel like I'm trying to remember which one it was. Might have been on the Xbox before Microsoft just started like cutting everything out. It might have been that one.
I know Dolphin handles it as well. All the kind of good emulators handle disc swapping seamlessly.
Dark Dreams, also Donkey Kong 64 is possibly my favorite N64 game, and all these years, no 3D Donkey Kong game since. Did that game fail? Like no sequel. Well, Sean hates the game.
Game sucks.
Yeah. I don't know if it. I guess it didn't. I don't know if it just didn't really like blow things up like they were hoping, where it'd be like, okay, this is it, 3D Donkey Kong. Also, yeah, they had to like package the expansion pack with it. And I don't know, it feels like a game Nintendo has no problem forgetting about because it's not on. It's not even on their service, their online service right now, which is weird to me. So I think 2D is good.
I'm not conspiracy theories or anything, but Donkey Kong 64 is a difficult game to emulate on N64.
Okay.
A lot of emulators struggle with it. I'm not saying the one that they have would, but I'm just saying it's one of those games. It's one of those edge case games that has a lot of trouble on emulation.
What about the Carbon engine? Could that handle it?
Maybe.
Warwick says, hello everyone, Rainy Night here in Warwick, Rhode Island. Just got back into playing Final Fantasy 14 online since FF16 reminded me of that. What's up, OJ?
What it?
Let me go around here. I'm gonna we'll do CJ's super chat on the after show.
What is it? I don't know if I want that on filth on my after show.
I think you do. Nice question. Let me go around here. We're gonna start with Josie. Josie, where can everyone find you?
Find me on YouTube at Josie Woe. I make reviews, stuff like that about the Nintendo Switch, and review old games sometimes. Good time. Check it out. Thank you for having me on.
Let's go to MVG.
You won't find me on the after show, but you will find me on YouTube at Modern Vintage Gamer, and I have a video out on Monday, and I'm sure Nate and I will have an episode out on his podcast next week.
Okay, there we go to OJ.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, first and foremost. I will be on the after show for a little bit. And you can find me on YouTube here, Player Essence. I've got my 10-year anniversary that's coming up next week. So I'll be doing a special live stream. And I got some pretty cool announcements that are surprising. Even some of the people in the cast don't know. So it should be fun. You guys should come through. Not you guys don't have to come through, but you guys in the chat should come through to the to the stream next week. I'll have it at some point. I'll have it scheduled for you guys, so you'll know when it's going.
Is there going to be a Black Healy cameo?
We can definitely do some Black Healy skits. Sure, absolutely. It's going to be a pretty long stream, so yeah, we can. I have some stuff that I'm cooking up for the Keeley Awards. The Black Keeley Awards this year, so you guys can let me know how some of the material sounds. Sure.
Then Evan.
You can find me on YouTube at Kimmerix Project for tabletop stuff. Videos are going to slow down for a bit because I got a ton of projects I'm working on outside of it, but hopefully we get to 3K at some point. We're working our way there.
Yeah, go check out Evan. He's got some high production stuff over there with the tabletop games. I'll say that. But thanks everyone for joining us. Sean, are you doing your after show?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
Okay, we'll check out RGT on his channel. You want to do your outro while you're waiting then?
YouTube.com/Dreamcast guy.
That was a short one.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to figure this shit out.
Okay.
Good luck.
Well, we'll pop on over to the after show then. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back here next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you guys then.